Hello. Welcome to the Loading Time podcast. Everything where we talk everything nerd culture. I am Demi, and I'm joined by Sean, and I'm joined by Elijah. Tega's Mario Kart is having trouble, so like he's not able to make it today. He got hit by a blue shell and
out of bounds.
The Lakitu is coming slowly. Use the hashtag Loading Time Pod for anything that we talk about today. We're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, and we're on Spotify, Apple Music, and all of that stuff. So we got lots to talk about today. What we gonna talk about first?
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy?
Jump right into it, yeah.
Final Fantasy is an
Let me get the right
RPG.
names. The names right, because I'm not going to say his name right. In fact, I probably should have. Do you have the tweet?
Yeah, it's in our group chat.
It's in our group chat. Pull up. So I'll go. I read a quick summary of what's happened, and then the right names will come afterwards. I don't know if he's the producer. He's not the creator, obviously, but he's currently producing or he's the lead of the new Final Fantasy 16. And he was asked by, again, we'll get the name later. I don't know which interviewer or journalist
I think it was
asked him.
I think it was IGN asked the question.
IGN asked him the question about diversity in the latest Final Fantasy 16 game. Okay, names.
Yeah, IGN, and then they were talking to the producer. Naoki Yoshida.
There you go, thank you. And they asked him about diversity and why there isn't much diversity in the latest Final Fantasy 16 game.
Shall I read out the quote?
Read out, because there's a lot he says, so let's read out.
Just read out the quote.
Yeah.
In regards to this, is IGN asking Yoshida. In regards to diversity in the game, can we expect to see black characters in Final Fantasy 16 or people of color, non-white characters in general? To clarify a bit more, there's been discussion around the trailers to date featuring mostly white characters, and I wanted to get clarity on whether we can expect the final game to be more diverse.
That's a fair question.
Although,
actually, let's pause there for a sec. Is it a fair question?
Yes.
Yes. It's like,
it is.
Yes. So, like, what was it? Someone was playing devil's advocate last night's conversation before. It's like, do they have the right to, as in, like, no, that kind of question being asked, because, like, you know, Toby got asked the question for his game, apparently.
Yeah.
So, like, is there a question that actually comes from, like, you know, place where it's like, oh, as a huge company like Square Enix, should they be thinking about this in diversity, or do you just ask everybody this? Do you ask people who make Sonic Adventure games? Do you think about diversity in your video games?
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's a blanket. It's a blanket question you ask all video games that have people in it.
Yeah.
Rather than something that coming from like.
I think it's a universal question they ask for most games that involve humans and not, you know, anthropomorphic animals. Like, sorry, you want to ask a Sonic game or
we all know Knuckles is a nigga. So like,
you know, that is stereotyping.
But with like Last of Us or any big of these AAA games, especially AAA publishers or producers, you definitely ask that question.
It's a good question to ask, I think. Anyway,
yeah, it's just a society we're in. It's a quote unquote woke society. So
I mean,
it is what it is.
I think it's just I even though in the whole woke thing, it's like. I didn't even think about it. It didn't cross my mind, which in a way probably isn't a good thing, because, you know, like when you watch shows these days and they have a lot of, I don't know if it happens to you guys, but I'm now slowly becoming desensitized to it, thank God. But what happens is I'm watching something and there are a lot of black people and I'm like, this show has a lot of black people, you know? Like, it actually just like, but I wouldn't normally think about that at all. But now when I see like, there's a black character. There's a black character. There's a black character. Oh, yeah, they've got a lot of black people in the show, you know? But it's not something that would occur to me. I never ever thought about it in any Final Fantasy game or any Japanese RPG at all. Like, I don't expect to see black people in it because...
God, we feel like the Japanese, so it's just like...
Well...
That's for me.
But they have white people.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that makes it no sense.
Yeah.
But when you say white, it's very... Because would you call Ryu white?
No. Ryu's Japanese.
Yeah, but
Ken's white.
Does he look Japanese?
No, but Ken's white. But then Street Fighter is also a funny place because the characters in there are characters. Yeah, Street Fighter very diverse.
I'm just giving an example. Like when you said, "Oh, they don't have Japanese people." Yeah, but the Japanese people in their things, they don't look Japanese. Like
well, that's what I was saying about Final Fantasy 16. That the characters there don't.
Even the anime. Well, even in anime, they don't look. When you look at.
Actually, I don't know if I agree. I think they do.
When you look at Sasuke, right? Yeah. Do you think Sasuke looks Japanese?
Yes. I think he does.
I just think
I don't
he
think
looks like a
Naruto
generic-
does. But
I don't think it looks like a generic, like not
Generic
generic,
anime
but like just
character.
it can be like an anime just looks like some white guy. I don't know. Like,
oh really? Okay, no.
I don't think Japan. The only reason you think Japanese is because they're ninjas, right?
No,
But if
no.
you take out,
Not at
okay,
all.
Takemichi for example, Tokyo Revengers.
Which one's Takemichi?
Ah, okay, you don't watch Tokyo Revengers.
I do, but no, I don't know which
with
one.
certain stories, there's like if you look at the Perfect Blue.
Okay,
Stuff.
Perfect Blue.
Like,
The
they
quality
actually,
of it.
the features actually look
Yeah.
like Japanese. They actually look like modeled it after Japanese people. Whereas in general, anime is based off like Western media. So like it's a lot of them are just like they just look white.
I don't know if they. But then again with the whole looking white thing, I don't know if they look white per se, because when I see characters like, for example, Sasuke is a pretty good example to me because he has the dark hair, right? And I don't. This is going to sound a bit racist, but the eyes. Kind of the way
they draw the eyes.
The way they draw the eyes, the feature. It's like it's like an exaggerated feature.
Yeah.
You know, in the same way like white people are black people. What's the exaggerated feature? The lips and the nose. You know, it's just in my head it's true. And then with white people, it's generally a lot more like subtle. There's no big feature apart from the color of their hair in my head and the clothes that they wear, and if they're the bad guys or not. That's
But then all the characters have red hair and
yeah, that's part where it kind of goes out the window. But Sasuke is like the example to me of like, yes, you're Japanese because you have black hair, you have the features, and yeah, fine, they're ninjas. But like another character would be like, not Ghost in the Shell, because Ghost in the Shell is the same remit as Perfect Blue, I'd say. Cowboy Bebop, right?
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop, like what's his face? The guy with the metal arm. He's not funny, right? Because he's not black.
yeah.
Yeah. What is he?
I thought it was. I know who you're talking about, but yeah.
I can't remember his
The
name.
robot arm.
The robot arm. Jet. Yeah. Like what?
It's Jet Black.
No,
like-
wait. Let me look at Jet again.
See,
'cause
like Jet to me.
Jet isn't black.
Jet isn't black. Jet isn't black, right? And if you said Jet was
Okay.
white, I would be like, okay.
yeah, it's clearly a white guy. Like, you can see
don't know
that.
if it's clear,
Look at him, but no, what's this?
Okay, yeah, fine. That's a
Come
white
on,
guy.
guys,
Okay, that's a
just
white guy.
come
That's a
on,
white guy.
guys.
Yeah, that's a white guy. That's a white guy. Okay, but then, what nationality is
Spike.
Spike?
Chinese.
I thought
He's
it was
actually Chinese in the
American.
thing,
I think
isn't
Spike
he?
is Chinese.
Yeah.
Isn't he American?
No. So I'm saying maybe there's a part of it that basically just sort of like there's like a whiteness to it, but I think the characters predominantly actually look Japanese in the most cases.
It's just come on, man. Let's be honest. Does he look? Would you say he looks Chinese? in
Yeah,
this?
I'd say he looks Chinese.
See, this is.
Because he doesn't look white.
How does he not look
doesn't
white?
look white.
But what?
You can
see,
just
this
saw the
is-
other guy. You saw
This
the
is
other
the thing
guy.
about anime. Like, I don't really look at it like white. Like, it's just
You see it as anime.
To be honest, like in anime,
yeah.
when I watch anime, they're all Japanese to me, unless said otherwise.
If they're
Yes.
based in like
Yeah.
if they're based in like Tokyo or whatever.
Even if they're not
it's
based in
like-
Tokyo, they can be based in the leaf something. They're all Japanese to me.
just I don't know, man. It's
Well,
Well,
weird.
they have
By
Attack on
default.
Titan that they're basically German.
They're mixed in Attack on Titan. They're Japanese. Well, like not all of them are Japanese, but not all German either, are they? They're not all German.
That German, yeah, I don't know, man. To be honest.
Because unless some of them are specifically have been said like
Apart from the Asians.
yeah, like a lot, like Armin doesn't like you could say Armin.
You know what's
is-
better?
I mean, I thought it
Fullmetal
was German.
Alchemist.
Okay, but maybe most of them are
Everyone
German.
is supposed to be German.
Everyone's supposed to be German. That's a good one because a lot of them look Japanese to me. What's his face? Mr. Snapfingers.
Oh, Ray Mustang.
Ray Mustang. He doesn't look like a German person at all. But at the same time, you can have people who are, for example, you can have black people who are say that they are French.
Yeah.
The same way you can have ginger person say that they're Japanese.
Should I read out
It's just
yeah.
nationality.
Should I read his response?
Yeah, okay, read. Sorry, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So this is his response. Yeah, it's a bit of a long one, but I'm gonna
Try and get the good
main
bits.
So he says first, he says this is a difficult question, but not one that was unexpected. Seeing as diversity in entertainment media has become a much discussed topic as of late. The answer I have, however, may end up being disappointing to some, depending on individual expectations.
He tried to cover his ass.
He really tried to cover his ass, but it didn't.
He didn't at all.
Our design concept from the earliest stages of development has always heavily featured medieval Europe, incorporating historical, cultural, political, and anthropological standards. Okay, that were prevalent at the time. When it's decided on a setting that was best suited to the story, we wanted to tell the story of a land beset by the Black. We felt that rather than create something on a global scale, it was necessary to limit the scope to limit the scope to a single landmass, one geographical and culturally isolated from the rest of the world in an age without airplanes, television, or telephones.
I forgot he even said that, to be honest.
He says a couple of things. I'm trying not to miss out the meat of it. Yeah. So he's talking about it being isolated. It said ultimately we felt that while incorporating ethnic diversity into Valistea was important, and over incorporation into this single corner of a much larger world could end up causing a violation of those narrative boundaries we originally set for ourselves. The story we are telling is fantasy, yes, but it is also rooted in reality.
Is it finished? Not quite.
Conversely, the Final Fantasy series of games have always inherently dealt with conflict and struggle, especially between the empowered and those used and or exploited by those privileged few, a prominent trend in human history. In the game that, by design, allows players to experience that conflict and struggle firsthand through dynamic, realistic battles, it can be challenging to assign distinctive ethnicities to another antagonist or protagonist without triggering audience preconceptions, inviting unwarranted speculation, and ultimately stoking flames of controversy. The best part of pulling inspiration directly from history, however, is that it allows us to revisit and re-examine our own past while also allowing us to create something new.
Okay, that bit, I actually didn't realize he said that bit where he said like he didn't want to draw comparisons to like real life but then the thing is they're saying like, I feel like it's still an excuse.
You're either going to base it on reality or you're not going to base it on reality, dude. Like and if you're going to base it on reality, let it actually be based on reality. It's just like the example that, Toby got, like when people say Black Vikings, why are they Black Vikings? Because they were Black Vikings.
Yeah.
So people just assume that the default is white. Yeah. It's just like the whole Little Mermaid thing saying, oh, why is she white? Yeah, as if English people have white people have ownership of mermaids.
Yeah.
They have Mami Wata in Nigeria, should be. And they have mermaids in Japan. They have mermaids all over the world. So it's not only white people, mermaids.
Yeah.
So is this whole thing saying we were using history? We're using
nonsense.
In the example that you gave, is we got a flipping giant horse.
He said there's a guy who turns into Odin, and there's literally the scene in the trailer where he's huge and he's waving the sword around, and and in one of the games, not probably on this one, he rides a horse and the horse has 6 legs. So, because I think that's like, I don't know if that's the staple Odin thing.
That's the Odin thing, yeah.
Yeah, so if the horse has 6 legs and it's 20 foot, you can put black people in your...
It's just like... It's a bad excuse. Just say are bad. That's all he needs to do.
Yeah, we didn't really think about it. But he kind of put Rod in his own back by saying we have fought to buy. We just thought in this current setting we didn't need much diversity. But this is the thing now, because say this whole thing's gonna probably blow up. The next Final Fantasy, they say, is gonna have a black lead, and everyone's gonna say, oh, it's just a token black thing to appease them. So they can't win anyway. I don't want them to kind of do that, because it's just not gonna end well.
No, that's true. I mean, another thing about it as well is that the fact that when we have seen black people in Final Fantasies, they're generally caricatures. They're not.
There's never been I
don't want to say normal, but they're all a bit too black. It's a bit we don't like that. This isn't the general. I mean, literally,
the evil Joe characters, or they're super angry and got a chip on their shoulder,
or they have a literal gun for an arm. That's pretty fun character. We can't do it. As much as I like Barrett as a character, playing him in Final Fantasy Remake, I was like, oh, this guy, man. They made him.
I know somebody talks about that before, because the first time he played Final Fantasy, so why have we got this stereotypical black character?
He's so stereotypical.
But everyone likes Barrett. But I understand if you had seen him for the first time.
Yeah, I liked him in the original because you make your own assumptions about it. There's no voice. It's basically a blocky man moving around. Yeah, he was angry and stuff, but damn right he's angry. Slavery. So, but then you see it in Remake, and it does seem more like a joke in Remake. Even though that's not how they play it, but you watch it and you just don't believe it. Because you're like, this guy, why is he so stereotypically like, if you were someone who basically had never really met many black people, and you want to make a black character, you're basically just making those of you just be like, oh, I've listened to gangster rap. Let's just make a guy that's basically that.
I mean, even a woman as well. Even what's the FF10 Donna, super angry black woman. But it wasn't. It's just she was just she was the she was very antagonistic and hostile towards Yuna for no reason. Like up until the end, it was like, why are you like? especially with the whole setting around what they're trying to do. Why is she so hostile?
Right.
But then I don't think, she's black. Oh well, I guess that's how they made it. I was just like, okay. You know?
Maybe it's sort of like a situation where you think of a character, like for example, there's that like really big, the Titan owner and stuff. And he's not black either, but like the look that they give him. It's quite threatening. Like he's big, he's bald.
Yeah.
You know, he is darker. He is darker. You see, like, what do you think would a stereotypical look like? I think maybe there's like a psychological thing where you want to make like a mean sort of spirited person or an angrier person that you do kind of shift towards that. Because, you know, if you made like this really, like say, white, blonde character, they're not angry and mean anymore. They become more sadistic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, they're not just like an angry person. That's not the look that you think of being an angry person. You think, but you're white. You shouldn't be an angry person. So the way you portray yourself now becomes more like sadistic than it is actually just like anger.
Yeah.
So I think stereotypically people like veer to that side. I mean, I can't blame them for making that bald character or whatever. They're making him like literally, although he seems a lot more chill than the others, but he is the Titan icon. But anyway.
Yeah, I think it's because of when you think of Final Fantasy specifically, you don't really think of prominent black leads. That's why it makes it a lot worse. Like if it was a Mass Effect, who cares? BioWare, for example, Mass Effect.
You can literally make your character black.
You can make a character black, and then one of the other like, you know, co-protagonists in the series is a prominent black dude, leader of the Alliance, blah blah blah.
Mm.
So you don't think, but that's bad. Mass Effect, they're very kind of,
it's a lot more Western,
and they're more diverse when it comes to their things.
Yeah. I guess you also probably argue that, although I don't like this argument. Is this fine? Okay. I don't like that argument where it's like, who are they trying to like sell to? But I don't think that Square Enix can use that excuse because they're like huge all over the world. Even though like they're predominantly the Japanese. Like if you go to like I haven't been to Japan, but I've been to Hong Kong. If you look at all their billboards, they're literally everybody's pale. There is no black person. I didn't see any single black person in any of the billboards. It's all very, very pale. And if you're trying to like sell a product to that group of people, you have to appeal to like what it is that they want to be.
Well, isn't there like a skin bleaching
over there?
In Hong Kong, in India, in Nigeria. I get
Yeah. So if you're trying to, if you're like, I think there probably is. To be fair, probably. I'm not sure, but maybe. Like if you're basically your base is there, are you then influenced by your base as well? Even though you're literally selling it to bloody everyone.
I don't think anyone cares. Like it's only recently that there's been this whole argument because it's more like and then it's kind of like an attack on people becoming more, you know, socially aware of things and more diverse. And it seems like now people saying, why do you guys want to change this? Well, back in the day, no one cared about this stuff.
No one knew.
It's just because of the present time when it's kind of like a culture war.
Yeah.
Wherein it's something as like the Little Mermaid. When I first saw it, I never thought, she's black or they put her there because she's black. I just thought, okay.
Yeah, I didn't care.
Like, do you know, like, but people made a big deal suddenly. Why is Chloe? Who's a fantastic singer, by the way. Why is she the Little Mermaid? I just thought because she can sing very bloody well, and they probably wanted to.
I mean, Disney are pretty good at like. I mean, I think they're pretty good at it. Even though people go, "Oh no, it's just what's the word?
Performative."
Yeah.
Even though they say that, I'm like, yeah, fine, let it be performative. People are still getting put in those places.
But they've had so many different. They've had Moana. They've had Princess and the Frog, Mulan. No one really Pocahontas. Even though they changed anyway, that's the whole other thing.
I mean, you don't know who the voices are for these people.
But you think Pocahontas, it's like
but they have actually made the characters that aren't.
Yeah, so no one. It's such a recent. It's just because of the current time.
I agree.
But you have based on the context of the current time, I can see why it's a bit problematic, especially in gaming as well, where there seems to be a lot of gatekeeping. Yeah, especially behind the scenes, you hear stories and stuff. There'll be hardly any black journalists or hardly any black people invited to like shows. Issues with streaming as well. Like you can have the top streamers that are black, but there's not much of a parity between black streamers and white streamers and things like that. So gaming is a very weird space, especially the whole Gamergate thing that happened time ago. That's why people are a lot more sensitive to being diverse, not just in terms of color, but genders.
Also, I guess you don't want it. But then,
sexual orientation.
But then, even if they just made, because they have like how many main characters in that thing, and they all basically, apart from the Titan one, all kind of look the same, apart from the girl. They're like two girls. I think the Shiva Akon, she's like blonde and short hair, and then sorry, saying it wrong.
You know what? I call BS.
It is BS.
I call BS.
Of course it's BS.
Carry on, finish what you're saying.
Okay, sorry. The Garuda icon is blonde with short hair, and the Shiva icon, it has long brown hair. But they all basically look the same, apart from the Titan icon, who's just tall, bald guy, right? You could have made any of them black, and for example, and I don't think anyone would have. You wouldn't have noticed.
It doesn't even make any sense though, man. They had Walker in FF10 and they were on an island, predominantly white person, but that's some black looking character there. And no one ever thought, we're trying to put realism into...
No, the realism excuse is bullshit.
It just doesn't... I don't know why they even said it.
It's a really bad excuse.
We just decided to do like that. That would have been probably a much better, because everyone would have been like, maybe...
Because we're calling you bullshit now. We're like... You made some weird psychoanalytic.
It's like someone wrote, we're not going to get this question, so this is how we're going to.
Like we did
because
our research.
The guy gave so long with it. I don't know how the interview was, but it just felt like they knew this question was coming.
Yeah.
Let's come up with a more appropriate answer, and you just realise that you kind of put yourself into a weird situation.
It's the same reason why people were like, but these elves can't be black. Black elves isn't.
I don't even know where that came from.
I don't know where that came from.
Because it's
like, who cares?
No one cares. But like, I literally heard someone at work say that, and I literally was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I was like, "How can you like that? Is some BS."
Honestly, honest to God, I never thought, "Oh my God, there's a black elf." I just
you didn't even think about it.
I just thought the only thing I thought about was, Lenny Henry's in Ring of Power, and I realized, that was it, because everyone knows, every black UK person knows UK people in general know who Lenny Henry is. It's like, what? He's acting? I didn't know he was. And he was quite a fun character. And he was a good character.
Yeah, it's like no one, normal people will see normal. No, let me just say it. Normal people will look at a character in a Ring of Power, see their colour and not even blink.
Yeah.
Like nothing will even occur. I didn't even think about the fact that he was black until someone started saying it, and I was like, he's black. He is a black elf. Didn't even occur to me at all as a thing. And in the same way when I see all those white elves in the movies, my brain didn't think they're white. Yeah. I was just like, they're elves.
Yeah.
That's it.
If they wouldn't even put another black person on there, I wouldn't have even
have known.
I was just thinking the story is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Wouldn't have even known.
But when they brought it out, I'm like,
I was like, but what's the problem?
Yeah.
And you're like, what's the... Wait, what was the thing you were going to say anyway?
It's really like called BS. Yeah. He's saying, we're doing this realism historical thing. Yeah. Final Fantasy flipping... What's the one with Noctis? 14 or 15?
15.
Final Fantasy 15. It's not based in medieval nothing. Yeah?
No.
None of your main characters are black in that. Zero.
They're driving cars and shit. In like a medieval kind of...
are white. Your car has jetpacks on it.
Yeah.
The black characters are the side characters, the ones that have the graphics are like on the lower spec.
Or like NPCs, your normal NPCs. Yeah.
Mm. There's no zero.
The medieval.
There's one character that she's black, but she's not a main character. She's also a side character, and she's the one that sends you to go and collect frogs. That's the only black character I remember.
Yo, even Titan's hometown looks like somewhere from Arabia. I'm sorry.
To expect all that to be white
in the desert, and they're in the desert. I think I even saw a scimitar, some shaped in there.
People gonna say, it's based on.
Why are they even bringing this up? Even
the argument is just
even Norse mythology. Like, I would have not cared about when Angrboda showed up. I'm like, okay. Angrboda in Ragnarok, God of War Ragnarok, right?
Oh yeah.
When I thought, interesting, and then a lot of people were like, why is this person here as a token? Honestly, if she'd never been there, I wouldn't have even said... I just thought Norse mythology, but you know what's going to be mad? When they eventually do Egyptian mythology.
That would be very interesting.
Why is everyone black? Why is everyone in Egypt black?
I just don't... I don't think... It's not even worth touching. Just do something else, man. Please, just do, Japanese or Chinese mythology and...
I got back at the Japanese, but...
Just go and do what other mythologies out there that would be interesting.
Irish, just do the Irish one. Just it's fine.
I think Egyptian just feels like the one that they have to do if they're going through the whole North.
If they are going to go through that, I mean, they're making some.
The Egyptian one will be really interesting, but like.
But I don't think we need that kind of palaver, man. that was just.
Say it's flipping. What do you call it? So people, then you get the woke black people in it saying that it's too there's a white man killing all the black people.
Oh, Ghost of Sparta, Payless, massacring the black.
Genocide.
Oh man,
I'm just saying.
The Ghost of Sparta just killing off all these black gods.
Oh,
yeah, that wouldn't hit with the right tone.
Yeah, that'd be
that wouldn't hit the right tone at all. As funny as it is, wouldn't hit the right tone. But yeah, so I think in general, we're all. I mean, the tweets for the response for that thing were like, "Yeah, you're right. We are disappointed." Still gonna buy your game though.
Still gonna buy it, yeah. Still gonna buy it.
Literally, it was I'm gonna be so disgruntled when I play this game. This racist mother. Oh, it's got a 6 combo.
I won't even be thinking.
I wasn't even thinking about
it.
It didn't even occur to me until that was mentioned. Until he said that.
Just could have just said, yeah, we didn't think about it. Maybe next time.
But then it's weird as well because it's not they don't even like use like I used the example like I couldn't think of any game that they've created where a black person was the main character until Forspoken.
Yeah, before Forspoken.
Who was it before? You said Nox. Who's Nox?
No, I said Walker. He was the only.
But he's not a main. He's like Hawaiian or something, man.
Yeah, it's exactly the best.
But he's not white, innit? Like,
but he's not white.
You generally don't see like when I was at work. One of the guys said, name a main character from a video game that's black, and it can't name a person that's been on the front.
Lee from Walking Dead, Telltale series.
Ah, yes,
and it was a very good character.
So say it can't be sports.
That's hard. That's hard. I remember
there were some.
We'll do this. Let's do it.
There were some, but like you know what's so funny?
I'm thinking now.
I think I mentioned this before.
I can't even.
Kratos isn't even white.
He's Greek.
Do you know why he's white?
Why? It's because of the ashes of his family.
Yeah, but his skin color wasn't white.
He's white in the sense of he's a Spartan, isn't it? So he's from.
But his skin color wasn't
green.
He wasn't like pale. He actually has brown. Not brown, but
yeah. But in the original one, he's literally just like grey white. But in the new ones, he's not grey white. Yeah, he has a regular skin tone.
Yeah, because he's lost it because of the whole.
Yeah, so he's lost all that ash stuff already.
Yeah,
but he's still like probably. You're right. I think he's probably as enlightened than he was in the original thing.
And both of his voice actors have been black people.
What is it?
Yeah, Christopher Judge and who's the guy before him?
Yeah.
Both of them black.
Boy. You're right. I can't think of a black.
That's actually crazy. I can only think of one, and that's Lee Everett from Walking Dead.
Maybe flipping
and Clementine.
Prototype too.
Yeah.
Was he black?
Yeah, he was black.
He was black. Okay.
No, CJ from San Andreas. Maybe there's
no, but you're
but it's a very. I'm a gangster.
It's in tone, but he was black. Yes.
I love CJ, so it is what it is. Who else? Damn it!
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know if he's able to do it.
He's not really black, kind of, but he's more Aborigine. I don't know. Attack on the Power of Juju.
Attack on the Power of Juju.
Yeah, some game sounds like that. Yeah, old game.
I kind of remember that.
But that is pretty. Attack on the Power of Juju. Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Wu-Tang Clan. Okay, he's not. He's not.
Wu-Tang Clan's the
my bad. He's not black, man. Look at this. Nah, he ain't black. Sorry, that ain't black. I
Wu-Tang Clan takes the pain.
This is actually gonna annoy him. This is actually sad, you know.
Yeah, it's true. It's a real.
I can only think of two.
It's a real thing. But anyway, moving on. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Fuck. I can't think of any. I really annoying me.
While you think about it, let's move on to the next topic, because speaking about God of War, a lot of spoilers have been leaked recently because some motherfuckers got the game early and decided that they just wanted to like ruin other people's lives. To be honest, they probably just did it because of the bloody the hits they'll get on YouTube, to be honest. I reckon. It's just probably because or they wanted to ruin it for motherfuckers. Because like you said, you were scrolling and you just saw spoilers.
It's for hits, really. I think, let's get more views on our channel.
Yeah.
Doing this.
Yeah, but then I don't think it was an NDA. No, there was no NDA, because what I heard was that some game companies, or not some, maybe a particular one, was selling copies of God of War early, which is why those people had the copies in the first place to even like...
It's more like a distribution...
which has happened before with other games.
Yeah, it happens almost every game I pre-ordered. I usually get a day or so earlier than before.
Is it? Oh.
Horizon I did, and what's the other game was it Kingdom Hearts? I got it a day early as well.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. But these ones more than a day, isn't it? These ones like...
Yeah, they just kind of sent it across. And
like a week.
Sometimes if you're back from Japan, they will send it early as well and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's ruined it for a few people. Luckily, I don't really follow a lot of... I don't know what's the right channels to be getting the kind of spoilers, luckily. But
if you type it, you just find it. Like, it's just random. Like, channels I've never... Like,
Oh, were you looking for God of War stuff and then that came up?
Yeah, I was looking at Ragnarok lore and stuff, and then it just came up. Like, what they do is clever. Like, they put it in shorts now, so you can see the shorts of the actual thing happening. And so, because I think they're taking them down.
Oh,
I'm not checking, but I just have a feeling that they are, because they did in long form, and then you just see them in shorts, and this happened, and then you see shots from when Kratos is fighting certain people. I'm just like,
oh God, man,
God.
Like so pissed.
So I know it's gonna happen. Even though I've seen the ending, I still don't want to know that.
No,
bro.
yeah, because I feel this kind of game. With most games, I don't really care, but God of War, like the story is so important to it. Like it's weird because like you were talking about before about Last of Us, and how you were saying maybe Last of Us has a really good story, but actually the gameplay isn't that great. But like with God of War, the gameplay is just like good.
Yeah.
And then and also the story is really compelling. And everything you seem to do that isn't a side quest is like fun to do. Like go to this place and get this thing so you can do this thing for them. And you get to go backwards and forwards and do all this stuff. And even when you're traversing from like A to B, you listen to the last one on the boat, you're getting lore, you're getting story, you're getting like character relationships. And then to have that just like ruined, like it kills a bit of the experience for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's rare to have a game that has like world-class gameplay as well as a world-class story. Usually it's either one or the other.
Yeah.
Like Rayman Origins, I'll say is probably one of the best gameplay design-wise, one of the best games I've ever played.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But the story is nothing. It's literally these bad guys are there. They're doing these things that annoying all of the people in that place. Just go deal with it. But the gameplay, and no one really talks about the Rayman Origins, Rayman Legends. But they're so good, man. But the story is just like, But I love playing. I can play that game all day.
It sounds like Mario.
Yeah, it's like Mario 64, where like you don't really think of story, but game design.
Taking the princess.
But game design,
we
ain't touching it. Even to this day, not a lot of games are touching Mario 64. So But yeah, with games like Nier and God of War.
Oh yeah, Nier story is supposed to be very good,
and the gameplay is great as well. It's annoying when you spoil the stories. Elements of it.
Yeah. I think the only other, the gameplay is fine. I think it's only really good when you're in raids or whatever. Like one of the reasons I was playing Final Fantasy Online, because I used to play solo, I didn't really have like online friends to play with and stuff. Because the story of Fantasy Online is really good. It's really long. It takes you ages to get into the good bit. When you're in the good bits, you just play it to just find out what's going to happen in Fantasy Online. Like the gameplay is good, but you only get to the really good gameplay when you're in like raids and dungeons and stuff. And if you don't want to do that, then I remember just logging on just to see what's going to happen in the story. And I never did about MMOs. Because MMO stories are generally quite weak. Like even World of Warcraft story, it used to be really good. These days, the story can become quite cliche. They've kind of like written themselves into like having to retcon a bunch of stuff. So you play it because the gameplay is really good, but the story is really weak. So it's like it is very rare to get a situation like that. But I think another game that has really good story and really good gameplay. I heard that what's his face? What's it called?
Sonic Frontiers?
I'm here.
How many Sonic games do you know that have good gameplay and good story? Either of those two things that was made.
Sonic ever had a good story.
Sonic who? Sonic what?
It's never, mate. Even the game. Anyway, let's not get
It's so rare to literally have that. I don't think there's other game that I remember my friend told me that, it's really, really good. Oh, I think it's Legacy of Kain
I haven't played it.
Legacy of... Oh my god, the gameplay is so bad. I think it's the second one. He said he was like, the story is like amazing. He said the story is like simply amazing. Try to play it. The game.
It's not Soul Reaver.
No, Soul Reaver is good gameplay.
Yeah, but Legacy of Kain was like the first
one. The combat was bad. The traverse was bad. It was all bad. I was just like, I'm sorry, I don't care how great the story is. I can't.
Maybe Metal Gear Solid 3.
Which one? Metal Gear Solid 3? Oh, that's not the one with the bloody what's his face?
Right, Raiden. That's 2.
But you actually play as Raiden.
In 2, yeah.
Yeah. With 3, you play as old man Snake.
No, you play as Big Boss.
You play as Big Boss.
Big Boss back before he became Big Boss.
Right. And the gameplay of that was bad.
It's really good.
Oh, but the story is bad.
It's good. I think it's the best story.
Good. Oh, right.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2, but some people don't like 2 story, and so everyone likes 1. But
people don't like 2 story because of Raiden. They don't like Raiden.
Yeah, but then Raiden they're kind of similar to the reasons why people don't like The Last of Us Part 2. When you have a character that's very unlikable.
And you make them the main character.
Yeah, you kind of kill off the main... Shit, sorry. But
they don't know now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been laughed for like
you get rid of the main character and you introduce somebody else.
Yeah.
And just like, we didn't come here for this. But then Raiden eventually becomes badass and...
Well, Raiden becomes a bloody cyborg and they put him in a completely different kind of game.
So it kind of like, you kind of retcon the whole...
Yeah, literally. They completely put him somewhere else. Completely different game.
Yeah. And those things never work. You walking in the shoes of the person that has replaced the other person.
Yeah, because
it tends not to work.
It doesn't.
Has it
really.
ever worked?
So there's only one part that I know where I actually did enjoy that, and that was Devil May Cry 4, playing as I can't remember his name now. He's basically you normally play as Dante through it.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry 3.
The guy that beats up Dante, or is it?
You got the demon on, right?
Yeah. I can't remember his name though.
People hated that as well.
Did they? Devil May Cry 4 was great in my head.
They hated the fact that they got rid of Dante.
Well, I think it's basically, I think what it is like a mixture of basically like your emotional attachment to the character and that character is gone. And it's like, okay, here's this other character that we want you to love, but it's like, we're 3 seasons in. What the fuck? What's going on? This ain't Game of Thrones. Like, what? And just kill off people and then...
Just depends how you do it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I quite enjoy playing him because the gameplay wasn't that much different. It was like a little different, but they put a little bit of spin on it because of the whole like grabbing and stuff. And Devil May Cry 5 came out, which I personally didn't like.
Yoshi's Island. No one cares.
Oh, yeah.
You played... Well, it was great.
No one gives a shit.
Mega Man as well.
Who did you end up playing in Mega Man? Oh yeah, Zero. But I quite liked Zero.
Yeah, Mega Zero is like one of the best ones. I think it's probably
to us anyway.
The best. I think it's probably
to us. It's the best. I'm sure some people have like queries. I play that game over and over again.
The whole Mega Man's dead in the whole game. It's like he's a flipping ghost.
Oh, that one. Sorry, I'm thinking of the other one where you actually can play Mega Man or Zero.
No, this one is specifically Zero.
It's just Zero.
Mega Man Zero, yeah.
Right. Okay. There are quite a few of them actually. To be fair,
it's hard though.
It's hard to rewrite that thing. Next on list, The Dragon Prince season 4 is out on Netflix. I have seen 3 episodes.
Will I finish it today?
I've seen 3 episodes, and it was funny because we haven't watched Dragon Prince in bloody ages because it hasn't been out for like ages. And then I watched the first episode, and I was telling like my partner that maybe we should try Dragon Prince because she might like it, and I want to watch it, so it's an excuse to just watch stuff. And then I saw that first episode, and I was like, actually, should I? It seems a little bit like cheesy. I kind of forgot the tone of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, And also, they did something that I don't agree with, which isn't really a spoiler, so I'll just say it. Time skip.
Oh, okay.
They do a time skip.
Why would they do it?
Yes. When I went there, I was like,
trying to think of this.
But it's not a long time skip. It's like maybe 3 years, something like that. It's not a big time. I mean, 3 years actually probably a long time, but is it 3 years? Something like that. They do a time skip. And when I realized that, I was like, because you see relationships with people, but you don't really know how they got there. You've just been told to accept it. And it's jarring. It's jarring.
Okay.
Like, it's different with the time skip with Boku no, where in that time skip, nothing really change between the relationship between the characters didn't really change.
Was those time skipping Boku no Hero?
Yeah, very small one. Yeah. No one knows.
That's the one that it needed a time skip, man. Come on, bro! It needed a time skip.
Well, Boku knows one.
It did right after this whole thing.
I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm saying basically that one felt better because the relationship with characters didn't change. The characters were still doing what they were supposed to do. It just had progressed slightly further. Whereas in this one, the relationship with some characters has changed, but you weren't there to witness those relationship changes. And it's a little bit jarring. So at first I was kind of like, should I actually get her to watch this? And then by episode 3 or 2, I was like, this is what I signed up for. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
All right. So it picks up where it left off, but I think in the first episode, they're kind of trying to like tell you what's happened, kind of. And then, but because it's quite lighthearted, there are a lot of like cheesy bits in there that I forgot were there. Because by the time of the ending of the last season, a lot of shit was going down. Like a lot of really dark stuff was happening.
Yeah.
And I forgot that. I was like, oh yeah, Iron Prince is really good and it's quite dark because all this dark shit happens. But actually it's not dark. It's actually quite lighthearted and then there's some dark shit. So the dark shit is sort of coming back again. And you're like, okay, here we go. This is what I remember from the show. So it's good. Like it's good. So that's out on Netflix now. I don't know how many episodes are out, but
they have black main characters.
And they have black main characters.
In a medieval looking thing.
With
the thumb kit. Yeah.
The king is black. Yeah. Nobody cares.
No one gives a shit.
Yeah, but in Western society we're a lot more like
and his boy's white. You know, even though it's his stepboy, isn't it?
Is it the stepson that's white?
His stepson's white, yeah.
And then the actual king is black.
But yeah, no one gives a shit.
We don't think about. Well, people probably do give a shit, but we don't give a shit.
They do, but you know.
Maybe it's because it's not as big as say, if Avatar had a black main character.
Does Avatar have any black characters?
No, because they're not black. They're
all
they're all based off Asian.
Oh
yeah, that makes sense.
There's basically no white characters in there really.
Yeah. They're not white, are they? They're all like Asian.
Yeah.
That is true. I haven't really thought about that.
It's all based on Asian, tradition and stuff, which is fine.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that one, actually. To be fair, but it's so far. I can't remember like completely everything that happened in the other ones. The father gets turned. Well, we don't know, but in my head, I think gets turned to the bloody bird.
I think the father's the bird.
Right? I think the father's the bird because there's no body, there's nothing. It's just this bird that keeps looking. Where is he anyway?
I need a story recap, man. I kind of forgot what's going on.
Because from what I remember, some elves are going to basically assassinate the king.
Yeah.
One of the elves is the girl. They get these armbands around them. It basically says that they vow, so they have to do the thing. Otherwise, it cuts off their arm.
Yeah, or
just takes the blood off them. Yeah. And then I think her people end up dying in the attack, and she ends up being like moves. Oh wait, no, she gets there and the king is gone. They don't know who the king is, and then I think does she abduct one of them or two of them, something like that. I don't remember, but they all end up going together somewhere.
Yeah, and
then the deaf woman is hunting her to save them, but for some reason they are going with her, so they don't. I don't remember why.
Yeah.
And then the dragon with the no eyes thing.
That.
The one that got his eyes melted. I don't remember how his eyes got melted.
He hates humans.
He hates humans.
Yeah.
Obviously, their king was killed by a human mage. They use dark magic, and all the elves don't. You just use regular magic because they're gifted or whatever. And then the guy who turned the king into a bird, maybe, he's an asshole, and he's really shit to his kids. But I think he obviously prefers his daughter because his son's a bit of an idiot. And then they go off to try and like get the egg.
Yeah, the dragon egg. Yeah.
Get the dragon egg, and who gets the? No, the egg isn't destroyed. The egg is in the bottom of the castle.
Isn't the egg hatched?
In the dungeon? It hatches. Oh, yeah. It does hatch, but the egg. Basically, everybody thinks that the king of dragons, that his egg. The line basically is over because they think the egg has been destroyed. But actually the egg is being kept by the wizard because of its like, he just likes that shit because his magical properties in it and whatever. But the egg hatches and then that's why they're on their
way to deliver the dragon
baby to the dragon person.
The dragon prince.
There you go. Caught up now.
Thank you.
And then there's that weird shit with the guy and his magic snail.
Magic snail.
Magic slug. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so basically, so the guy ends up, the mage ends up talking to.
Yes, I remember the magic slug.
Yeah, magic slug that goes into his ear. Goes into his ear. And whispers some shit to him.
Yeah.
Because the elf is in this place.
Oh yeah, this mirror.
There's a mirror.
God damn it! Yes,
it's a mirror.
It's all coming back to you now. It's all coming back.
And that elf is in that. Well, I think it's an elf. I don't really know what to call them.
People listen to this week. I mean, what the fuck is going on?
What are they talking about? Go watch Dragon Prince. He's good. The first season had some weird frames in it, but
it improved.
Yeah, it got better. And the story is pretty decent. Yeah. The story, I think, is it's quite well put together. Yeah. And then a new season is out. So.
Is it all of those episodes are out, or is it just episodic?
I'm not sure because I feel like all the episodes are out, to be honest, because it only came out like last week Thursday, and I've already watched 3 episodes. So something makes me think it's not like an Arcane type thing. In fact, when is the next Arcane season coming out?
That's true.
I don't know, no idea when that's coming out. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
Awesome. Yep, they're all out.
They're all out.
All 9 episodes.
So worth watching. The last thing we're going to talk about is some Tokyo Revengers stuff. Which somebody is very disappointed about.
Bro, it just died of interesting death.
I remember.
Kind of gave me Bleach vibes. Just
really, the story just got like
just ended. And you're just like, what?
How many chapters are there?
How many chapters? 200.
That's not bad. I can read that easy.
No, it's a good one.
Because when I started, read, I'm not really sure. Because the first one, when I started watching, I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." Like it seemed like a little bit like a crime.
Yeah,
like investigation, detective stuff, like anime at first. Because the premise of it basically is that this girl that the main character sort of like knew. I think because he didn't know her, he didn't talk to her anymore when he was in the future, basically. He knew, you correct me if I'm wrong, but he knew her and she dies. And he dies because other people that he knew about, there was like a gang war or something, and she ends up dying. But then, for some reason, he goes back in time. I don't remember how. I think is it because he meets the brother? Is that why?
No. Well, that's
one of the ways he does it.
So yeah, he gets pushed in the train. You think he dies, and then he comes and he realizes
he gets pushed. Train can.
They haven't even explained that.
They didn't explain who pushed him. Oh wait, we know who pushed him.
We don't know. We don't. We don't know who pushed him for sure. Well, surely they're gonna tell us in the final chapter, which is next week.
What? Oh.
I'm almost certain that they haven't.
You're right, because he's a salary man, isn't he? He's just like a salary man.
It's just a normal guy. You know, he's thinking, "Oh, I wish I did better with my life." And then they push him in the train. And he goes back in time.
You don't know, right? You're right. Sorry, my bad. Yeah.
So I think it's probably can only be one person.
You think you know who it is?
Yeah, but I don't want to say it. But it can only be. Well, who else would it be? I thought it was.
Not that far yet.
I thought it was one person, but it can't be him because he's no longer around. So yeah, I was just like, okay. So yeah, so that the whole thing happens, and then you see all these little things he tries to do, and he starts off as this timid guy who doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, he hasn't got much powers or anything. Then he kind of.
I mean, I'm watching it. He's still useless. All he has is his guts.
He grows and grows and grows, and then you're seeing these dynamics. And it comes to a point where this really sad scene happens. It's just like, that's what it kind of like peaks for me.
Oh, okay.
And you're just like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, just everything's gone to shit. And I'm like, oh my God, and he's like, I will save you. He just tries again. But yeah, it got to things like, there's things like that happening, like, people dying, like, there's consequences, all of this stuff happens. And then after a significant guy is out of the equation, it kind of lost his direction.
Right.
I was a bit surprised, but I was like, what? He took him out already? Okay. And then they just go another route with him, which is kind of interesting. But they would really have to explain this bit if they're going to go through this route, and then they don't. And it's just, okay. Cool.
And they have like how many weeks left?
They've got 1 chapter left.
1 chapter? Oh, shit.
Yeah, it ends next week, apparently. I checked, I was like, oh, shit, ends next week.
Wow. Because it's going to be like very bleachy ending for you then.
Yeah.
Unless they basically just do like a sad ending or something.
I mean, sad. What will be a sad ending?
Or just like I don't know. She still dies.
No, it's not that. They that's the thing. They've kind of gone past that.
They've gone past all that.
It's more like something is more. Not even more insidious. It's just kind of weird how they've kind of changed direction in terms of okay, this is his ultimate goal, which is kind of done now, and then out of the blue, this happens, and you're like, okay, why is he like this now? Suddenly. And then now they're trying to explain why this is happening. And it's so
then they only
dumb.
have one chapter
it's
left.
So fucking stupid. Oh my god! I wish you've caught up where I am. I'm just thinking, oh my god, it's so dumb. Like this came out of nowhere. These dark, I can't even explain it. These dark impulses. Like, what the hell are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense, bro.
Oh,
It's just like just plot device, boom, put it. We just need a reason for this thing to end.
Right. Okay. To give you a bit more context, basically what happened, from what I understand anyway, when he goes back in time, and because basically there's a character that basically when you go back in time meet this character, he's a lot more like he's like the head of this like gang, right? But he's a lot more like chill. He's a lot more relaxed. He's like, if you fuck with him, he'll kick your ass. But he's a lot more like, he's like he's a good person. Like if you're good, he just will leave you to your own devices. Yeah. But in the present, before I go back in past, he's become a lot more twisted. Okay. And it's like doing things that he wouldn't normally, that wasn't in his character in the past. Like if you met him back then, you'd be like, how can he become this guy?
They're not like connecting the dots.
Well, in the way the story works is that every time he goes back and he's like trying to find out what made him turn.
Yeah.
And basically the reason why he turned because of a certain situation. And if he rectifies the situation, then the guy won't turn. And if he doesn't turn, then the events that transpire to get that woman, that cause that girl to die won't transpire.
Right, okay.
So he's like not a fighter or anything. He just goes back and tries to like stop bad things from happening. From what I understand, what the show is like. And he builds like a relationship with these people as well in the process. And that's what happens. Every time he goes forward, something might change slightly in the future. And then he's like, we have to do this now. And then he goes back again and tries to like add to his work and so on and so forth. I don't remember if he can go back and fix things if he fails. Can he?
Kind of, it depends. He can only go back so far. So if something happens in the future, he might not be able to change it.
Right.
Because if something happens when one guy is out of the equation and that's it, like he can't come back or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
But then there's this other thing. Yeah, this is the thing that really annoyed me. So you think that there's this guy that's with the main Mikey, whatever his name is, right? Oh, if you he's the key, he turns Mikey basically.
Yeah, I remember that one, yeah.
And then something happens and then he's like, okay, this is another direction. And then come to find out, it's just had it all along. I'm just like, fuck.
Oh, really? That doesn't even matter.
I'm still confused. I was reading the chapter back, I was like, what? Wasn't it? Oh, because some guy was a catalyst or something that must have happened. And it's just like, oh no, it's just basically...
It's just how he is anyway.
It's how he is.
What? Okay, that's weird. Okay, I see why you're a bit frustrated. Because the whole point of
I don't even care to hide the spoiler. I don't even think it's worth what. So...
Because the whole point of that story is that, and then you realize the whole point of the thing that you've read up to is now actually irrelevant.
I'm still trying. I just have to read. I just felt like,
how do you know it?
So why? What is all this then? Is it just is how he is? And you find the backstory of how the powers were passed over, and it just felt like very Game of Thrones that they just. Let's wrap this up, guys. Let's just figure it out. We've hit
our quota.
See, if I was writing a manga, and it could be the most, it could be a slice of life manga. Yeah, guy goes to cafes and love this girl. Trying to, it's fun, it's funny, and all that kind of stuff. And the editor say, you have to finish it next week. I'll do it the most random way. I'll just be like. Then a dragon came. It was on a dream. That's our favourite one. We watched there's an anime that we watched. My dad used to bring home these there's video cassettes. Yeah.
Oh wait, but random anime.
Random anime. Yeah. And no one ever into anime. Like that. And there was one called like the Four Dragons or something.
Oh, that freaking! Oh my god!
I'm like, it was weird at first. Yeah. It was these four brothers. Yeah. And then
wasn't there a girl?
And there was a girl.
Yeah.
And each of them are dragons, right?
Man.
So at the end of each episode, there's first was the youngest brother that turned to a dragon. Then there was and each episode you're like, oh, okay, they're all turning into dragons, and at the end of it, then it's a phoenix. It goes to a phoenix.
I remember
this. She starts flying everywhere, and then she wakes up.
And that's the end.
And they're like, oh, I had the weirdest dream that you guys were living somewhere, and there was a city, and then you guys were dragons. That's how it ended.
Part of me wonders, maybe the manga of it, maybe the manga of it
doesn't end like that in the manga because they didn't have enough money to keep it going, did it? So just like 3 times 3 eyes.
Oh, 3 eyes was so good. What was bad? I didn't 2 by 3 eyes.
There was a time skip, and then they didn't explain much about.
Oh yeah, that's true. 3 by 3 eyes was I just thought
it was good.
3 by 3 eyes.
It was. That thing was.
Do you know what that is? It's about this.
Even the OVA is good.
3 by 3 eyes is sick.
That thing.
What's it called?
3 by 3 eyes. Like 3 times. I think 3 times 3
that thing
eyes.
Is good.
It's basically about this guy who he dies because he gets attacked by something, or he gets hit by a car
or something.
Yeah, and then by trucking, and then instead of basically being sent to another world, basically this woman, he then wakes up and this girl's there, and the girl basically made him her
bodyguard,
basically.
But he's
what that means that he's basically a zombie. He can't die as long as she's alive, and she has an eye on her forehead. I think.
Yeah.
So she wears
She wears a bandana,
but she has an eye on her forehead. And there are other people like her, and they have their own bodyguards as well. Or only in one episode,
there's one other guy
who was So there's loads of kung fu stuff.
I'm reading the manga, because the OVA ended kind of weird.
Yeah. And there are bits where they're fighting, and then he just end up saving someone.
It's quite old.
Yeah, get hit by a car,
and then his head fell off, innit?
Yeah,
he got hit by a car. And his head fell off. He was like, "Whoops!" And he just put it back on.
It's good. It's really good. It was really, really good.
I'm gonna rewatch.
It's only 4 episodes. The OVA.
It's good.
But the thing about a good story, man, when it just ends
abruptly.
I keep thinking Mass Effect 3, man. I keep thinking of how bad that is and how much I enjoyed Mass Effect 2 and a lot of Mass Effect 3, only for the ending to just come out of nowhere and to completely ruin. Not just the game itself, but 2 as well. The entire franchise just ruined. It's hard for me to go back and play it, knowing that ending is there. You know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. When you know, that's one reason why I'm a bit like, should I even bother watching Game of Thrones now and finish it off?
That's why I can't even watch. I can't even watch the prequels. I'm like,
Ring of Dragon.
House of Dragons.
House of Dragons.
I can't because I know how it is.
Where it's going.
I know it's going.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a bit more isolated. I'm gonna watch. I mean, I bought it now
because it's linked. I'm sure it's linked to Game of Thrones. They're probably gonna link it in some way.
They dropped some interesting little stuff in there.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the ending of Game of Thrones.
That's true. I don't know the ending, so I feel like I'm a bit.
I think you should watch it just. You know what? I'll watch it because for the time was the best thing on TV.
1 to 5.
Story was
seasons 1 to 5 great. 6 was where the crack started to,
and then 7 was
just complete dog shit.
You can actually tell when you're like, this is a bit different. The story's not as good. It was still compelling, but it wasn't touching.
But it's compelling only because of the history you had of it, probably.
Yeah, because the character already built up the character.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, and even then there was still some things that were kind of unresolved from the previous season.
Right.
So that they still had to build off that, and once those things were resolved, it just went plummets.
Oh my lord!
And you're like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
The guy still hasn't written those books, has he?
He said his film was finished.
He's finished a different one. Different one he did. Didn't he? Something of crows.
Yeah.
Feast for Crows.
Is that still Game of Thrones? Feast for Crows.
I don't know, but he said he finished that one, so God knows.
Okay.
I just hate
that.
So
let's cut it out.
Let's cut it off there.
Yeah,
use the hashtag LoadingTimePod. Catch us on Twitter. Catch us on YouTube Shorts as well. Spotify, Apple Music. All that stuff. Let me know what you think. Let us know what you think and all that. What you'd like us to talk about next. Nothing Marvel has happened recently.
Yeah, Marvel.
Next episode, we'll talk about Black Panther because I'm going to watch it this Friday.
I think I will probably try and watch it before then as well.
Y'all should try. Yes. Anyway. Bye.
Bye.
Laters.